Hello and welcome, it's me Martin, and today I've got a teaching tip for you. And hopefully if you enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I'll let you know when I upload another video. And if you do like this video, if you want to see another teaching tip video, please let me know in the comments below and I'll definitely upload one again. So today we're going to be looking at how to reduce student L1 in the classroom. L1 is basically the first language that students speak, so it could be their mother tongue such as Chinese or Italian or German or French, and L2 stands for their second language, which is going to be English, which they're going to be looking at and studying in class. When you're teaching English and you want to try and improve the students' fluency and their accuracy with their spoken communication, they have to practice English within a classroom environment. And it's very challenging and it can be quite disruptive when they revert back to their first language. So I want to share 5 tips that I usually use when students revert to their first language and communicate with their fellow peers if they have a common language that they normally associate with. And the first tip that I would always recommend is not saying anything, just being quiet, showing them the eye. Just stare. Don't stare too long, don't stare too short. You'll be looking around like this. But what you want to do is you want to look at a person that's speaking their first language for about 5 seconds, and then move over to the other student who's communicating in their first language and do this. The students will notice that you're not speaking. I'd recommend sitting down and just showing them the eye. You'll notice a student nudge the other student, say, come on, we've got to speak English now. And it's usually very effective. Okay, the second tip, if the first tip is not really that effective and you're just looking at the students and not really noticing, again, I wouldn't normally say anything, but I would tend to show them some sort of indication, but obviously with a sad face. So interest in Italian. Interest in Italian. Yeah, I would just show it. And usually I tend to walk around, and I used to pull these out. If I had multinational classes, I would have a variety of these and I would just pull it out and it would revert back to English. And it's usually quite useful. And, if you have some Chinese learners, cool Chinese. But you've got to compliment them when they use English, and that is important. You can't stress that enough. So I tend to use this with a big smiley face. Excellent English. And this is the psychology, eh? You're using reverse psychology. They don't teach that during the CELTA. They don't teach this sort of stuff, but this is good stuff. The third tip that I use for improving English within the classroom is to try and get students to use the functional language amongst themselves. So if you have a monolingual group, usually first or second class, I would teach classroom language. So what does mean, or what is in English? And they could use this language amongst themselves, and you could start to build it into classes, and it will help the students improve themselves and help each other. And this is really, really important. So have a variety of cards ready, display the language around the classroom. So if the students revert back to their L1, you've got the eye, you've got the sign, and you've also got this language, this functional language that you can show in the classroom. Tip number 4. Now this is quite important. Naturally, it's very difficult for students to speak English. It's their second language. They don't have enough vocabulary. They're surrounded by peers that speak a common language than them, and sometimes it's important for them to revert back to L1 just to build up that confidence to speak in English. Now, they've got the functional language, they can help each other, and when it comes down to an activity, if it's a task, they usually revert back to L1 and help coordinate with each other. And that's fine, that's all right. But to help them understand when they're reverting to their L1, it's important to have some sort of notice or sign saying, oh, I'm going to go back into my first language and I'll come back to English in a moment. What I tend to do is, if I have 4 groups, I would hand out these buzzers. And these are great. Kids love them, adults love them, and it really, it buzzes the classroom. So if a student wants to use their first language, they have this on the table, and they have to press it if they want to speak their L1. And then you would have a sound like, don't worry, Mitmits. You'd have a dog. Or you have another sound. It's meant to be a chicken or a cockerel. So you have all these different sounds, and the students have to press it if they want to use that first language. They become aware of how much they use in their first language, and if it's a silly sound like these, they'll start to become a bit more self-conscious and try and push through that difficulty of using English, and they'd feel embarrassed with these buzzers. Not that I'm trying to embarrass them, but just trying to make them aware of when they're using their first language. The final tip that I have for you today is to be patient. Imagine you're learning a new language. You don't have enough vocabulary. You don't know how to communicate. You're taught the grammar. You're surrounded by other people that speak the same language as you. It's going to be natural for you to speak your first language. And I get it. So for every teacher, step back, have a bit of patience. It's really important that you support your students and you are patient with them. Even if they don't use English that much, support them, be patient, develop them. And you'll notice an improvement in their confidence, in their ability to use English, and it would really help with the general classroom. And students will see you. You're there as a supporter. You're not there to try and lecture them or teach them on how to do something, but you're there as a key member to support them. And that would be my final tip. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. You'll know when I upload another video. And when you hit the notification bell, hit all notifications or all videos, and this will let you know every time I upload a video. That would be really good. And I'd like to say thank you to everybody who's subscribed already. Really appreciate it. I've hit through 2,200 subscribers. That's brilliant. I was hoping to get to 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I've already smashed that, and I really appreciate it. But thank you very much for listening. I'll see you next time with another teaching tip. And let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this and what sort of things that you'd like to see in the future. Take care and happy teaching.